Well, hello once again, everyone. This is Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy with the Nautilus Dry Docks, and as you can see before me, we have yet another fully completed, tested, and trimmed model to show you. It's a very cool boat, one of the most prolific of World War II, German Type VII. Let's take a closer look. So this particular boat is rendered in 1/48 scale, which I believe is about 55 inches in overall length. It's a great size for, medium bodies of water. I wouldn't put this out in the middle of the lake, but it will definitely hold its own if there's a few waves out there to contend with. The other kind of neat thing about this is while it's not technically a pool boat, it has a tremendous turning radius, which means it can actually navigate really well in more enclosed spaces. This particular boat was built by a very talented modeler up in Canada many years ago. I got it as a pair of boats that were both built by the same builder in the same style, so they're brother and sister. I'm going to go into it a little bit later on, but I got a tremendous deal on these boats. Both of them are going to go to the new owners at the same time so they can be together as family. Let's take a closer look at this thing because it really is a pretty tremendous model. Let's start our tour at the bow of the boat. So unlike, the ARC model kit, this doesn't have the net cutter on the front, which is actually far more typical. Only the very early boats had that net cutter. This is, by the way, a fully fiberglass hull. This isn't an ARC model kit. It's not a Revell kit. This is all rendered in fiberglass, so it's exceptionally tough and durable, but no detail has been lost. You can see all of these really tremendous deck details in here, all of your cleats, the hatches all open and close. I can't get my fingernail under there, but trust me, they do. Guns are all in here. They swivel. We've got our periscopes, and these are removable. Really tremendous detail. It's rendered as a 7C. More opening and closing hatches here. And the rigging is actually done up really well with very thin stainless steel line. To get access, there's typically a stainless bolt in the back, and all you do is take that out, lift up, push forward, and the entire hull comes off. Now, we get to the magic of the boat. Going back to the bow, you can see a linkage in here. This is not for torpedoes, but rather for the torpedo shutters. So these are fully actuated torpedo shutters, which is a really cool feature. Going in the back, we've got our bow plane linkages. We've got some flotation foam in here. Then our forward waterproof compartment. And yes, this is a dry hull boat. Had it out, this compartment does not leak at all. We got a waterproof switch, and this is your charging port. You got access to the charging for the lithium polymer battery, and it's running a 3S 3300 lithium polymer battery pack. Just pop those out. You can charge it up without having to break into it. Now, I will note that it is not recommended procedure to charge the battery in the boat. Lithium polymer batteries can prove to be problematic if they are not charged properly, if you do not have a proper computerized charger. So if you do not, I would recommend removing this after every run, pulling the battery out, charging it, and then reinstalling it, which is absolutely going to be a procedure, but probably the safest way of going about it. Now what we got in here is our main ballast tank, and you can see a secondary bag right here. So we have main ballast that is vented through this linkage, and then there is an air pump that, actually it's a water pump, that fills and empties the main compartment. And this connects to hose in the bottom of the hull right here, and that is the intake, the air intake that runs up through the periscope of the boat. This secondary system is actually an air pump system, and there's a servo right under here that activates an air pump, blows air from the dry compartment into the bag, inflates it, and then it moves the other way. It'll vent it back in and equalize the pressure. This is really a secondary ballast system, an emergency ballast system. You don't need to use it unless you find yourself underwater and unable to surface again. But it's very, very cool to have it implemented in the boat. Moving to the back, like I said, we've got linkage for the vent right here. Test hose, so you can pressurize the compartment. And there was also a test hose in the front as well. So you can pressurize each of these compartments to test for leaks before every run. Then we've got our dive plane linkages and rudder linkages. These rudder linkages are really, really well done. You've got tremendous throw on the rudders, which results in a really awesome turning radius for the boat, as you'll see once we get this thing in the water here in a moment. That is pretty well it. Access, obviously, you need to remove all of these nuts, and it does take some time, but it allows you to place everything in there in a rather easy to access manner. It's an old school way of doing things, and this was probably built about 15 years ago, and it's a testament to the builders' ingenuity and skill that it is still in operation today and working really, really well, as you're gonna see. Control of the unit is via this high-tech, low-frequency transmitter. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is power everything up here, and I'll show you everything in operation. Now, to turn the model on and off, you don't actually have to have the upper hull off. There is a marked limber hole in the side of the boat you can put like a little screwdriver through and toggle the boat on and off without having to open it up. It's really cool and really well thought out. So we got our transmitter on, turn our boat on, and oh my gosh. And now we can run through the functions. Let's start up at the front here. Everything is labeled, so we got our torpedo doors, and you can see those working. Really cool feature. Obviously you can't see it when it's under the water, but it's neat to show your friends when it's on the bench. We've got our linkages for the bow planes, and then moving to the back, let's talk about the ballast system. So that's on the left toggle switch here. You can hear that water pump kicking in, and the vent. And then we can do the emergency system here, and vent. And the water pressure will actually vent this back out again. There's nothing sucking it, it's just the pressure returning it back to its normal state. And last of all, we've got our throttles. Nice and smooth. Originally, this was running off of about 8 volts, which was pretty low. It wasn't moving very, very quickly, so we bumped it up to 11.1. Everything is much, much happier now. So to button it up ready for the pond, you just need to, and this is going to be really hard for me to do one-handed, but you just connect the intake hose. Oh, look, I did it. Just, well, you'll push it down a little bit further than that. Make sure that it's not going to get any interference. Hook the nose in the front, drop the hull down, and then there is a stainless bolt right here. That just drops in the back hole. You screw it down, ready for the pond. So this boat actually performs really, really well. It has a unbelievably tight turning radius for a boat of this size. I'd say the turning diameter is probably about 8 to 10 feet, which is actually really, really good. It also has really tremendous response to the stern planes, owing to the configuration of the stern of this style of boat. Now that we bumped the voltage up by 20% or so, it also has a really good rate of speed as well. Like I said, just a great boat for large swimming pools, small ponds, that kind of thing. It looks really good on the surface and submerged. And now the big deal that I was alluding to a little bit earlier on. Let's take a look down here. We have the boat that we just talked about, 148th German Type C, and then next to it, the US, the counterpart to that boat, the US Gatto class submarine rendered in 164th scale. So obviously the Gatto was a much bigger boat. This is rendered in a smaller scale, but the two are brother and sister. They're built by the same builder in the same manner. They got the same style of componentry and the same methodology for functionality. And like I said, I don't want to break them up. I'm going to incentivize people to jump on both of them. So right now, we've got the Gatto listed at $2,990 by itself, but you can get both for $3,200, and I'll throw in free wooden shipping crate for that. So I'm going to put the link to the boats in the description. If you click on that and you see the listing and it still says available, it's still available. You don't need to ask me. If it shows sold or if there's nothing there, it's already gone to the new home. So I'm excited to offer these. Looking forward to getting them in the hands of a new excited owner. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like what you see, please like and subscribe. It helps us out here at the Dry Docks a lot. If you got questions or comments, drop them down below. We'll take a look, get back to you as soon as I can. Always email me anytime, bob@nautilusdrydocks.com. You'll get a faster response, I guarantee it. But with that, we're gonna leave you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.